Now, Eyewitness Sports.
All right, welcome to Double OT with Mark Dondero. I'm Yanni Karakis. Ruthie is in Foxborough during this taping, so we'll get right to it. Dondi, when the Sox season ended, we didn't know if John Farrell would keep his job. News today that he is in fact canned. Was that the right decision from the Red Sox?
I think it was. It seems like Dave Dombrowski has some people in mind. In fact, it more than seems that way. He said he has a short list of people in mind. So if that was the case and he has some people he likes, I'm for it. I think it was the right decision. This man has a decorated resume, John Farrell. He led the team to a World Series title. I think that predates Dombrowski. 2 straight AL East titles, yay. But a lot of bad things happened. 2 last-place finishes. Right. The team this year was a mess. The clubhouse was a mess. You got to give him credit for the AL East titles. They did play hard. The extra innings wins were good. Mm-hmm. But, you know, no success in the playoffs recently. What have you done for me lately? Plus all the things that happened off the field. There was the embarrassment about Dennis Eckersley and confronting guys on a team plane, media members. Can't have that. The Apple Watch situation. Either he didn't know or he did know. He's an idiot either way. And then, obviously, you know, he did have an affair with a clubhouse reporter. Not good. So there were some things that went on that weren't good. So overall, you could have argued he could have kept his job or that he should lose his job. He ended up losing it, and I think ultimately that was the move.
I agree it was the right decision to can John Farrell. If he had kept his job, I wouldn't have been up in arms. But with everything going down today, I think it was the right move. For many of the reasons you just outlined. Listen, you win a World Series in your first year, but then 2 last-place finishes. But specific to this year, the clubhouse, it almost, and a lot of people have been saying this, it's almost like David Price kind of infiltrated that clubhouse with his negativity and us against the media, and it didn't seem like Farrell held his guys that accountable. So I think from a clubhouse dynamic, I don't think he was the right guy for the job. I don't think he's a very good in-game manager. I think he did a good job with the bullpen this year. But if you go back to 2 years ago, the last place finish, he probably would have been fired, as bad as it is to say, if he didn't have cancer. You're not going to fire a guy when he's going through chemotherapy. So listen, 5 years in Boston, it's not a job, Tito Francona used to say this, that you can stay in forever. And who do they bring in now? Is it Alex Cora? Is it Brad Ausmus? Obviously, Dombrowski has no loyalty to Farrell. He inherited him. But on Farrell's behalf, you win a World Series, 2 AL East crowns. Any other city are probably keeping that job. And I know you were at the press conference today. I want to discuss sort of the dynamic. The biggest thing I took away from it, besides Dombrowski not saying much of anything, is that he's talked to managers who said Boston isn't a job they would want. Is this a good job in that there's so much media pressure? You have the resources and talent, but we don't even know if it's the right fit for everybody.
I have nothing to say to one of those managers. I would never want one of those managers. Are you telling me you can't take the heat? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what they're saying.
Well, that's a disgrace. You should want to be in Boston. It's a passionate fan base. They love their baseball. What would you prefer, apathy? That makes no sense to me. I wish he had named some names.
But scrutiny, it probably just eats you up.
I guess, but that's a job you'd, I mean, I would think you'd embrace the challenge and want that kind of attention because when things are going well, you're a legend. Yeah. So, I guess that was one of the big takeaways. I don't understand why Dave Dombrowski didn't offer up some kind of explanation.
I think it was generally the feeling I got is it's just the clubhouse. I will tell you this. I was up there last week, 2 days before the start of the postseason, and the vibe was just terrible. Yeah. I mean, I haven't covered the Red Sox forever, but I was with them the entire 13 run and even last year. And I don't know if it was Ortiz, but hey, it's in the playoff. Guys are energetic. They're ready to go. There's music playing during BP. It was almost like these guys were going through the motions a little bit. And I know they fought hard to force a Game 4, and they fought in Game 4, but it was almost like they weren't having that much fun. I don't know. It was almost like they all treated it as a job and not as like something to embrace.
Teams take on the personality of the head coach. I'm not really sure what type of personality John Farrell exuded. Yeah. He never struck me as the type of guy that would call you into his office and say, Dustin, enough. Right. Yeah. I'm thinking back to when that crap that happened earlier in the year against Baltimore, when he got thrown at, or I forget what happened there with Manny Machado. That's where Farrell needed to take control of that situation and kind of end it, and maybe choose some people out. Did he ever do that? I don't know. But it wasn't I don't know if some of they're unlikable this year had something to do with John Farrell and his presence and his attitude.
And his ownership. Dombrowski said that John Henry gave him the decision, but you'd have to think John Henry had a say in this. If he wanted to keep Farrell, he'd probably still have a job, no?
Well, listen, I usually salute the owners allowing the baseball people or the football people to make the football or baseball decision. So I'm glad it went that way. But yeah, it just didn't. I mean, the decorated resume is there. 2 straight AL East crowns.
He'll find work somewhere.
I think it did have a lot to do with the inner workings of that clubhouse and maybe feedback he got from players about certain situations that he didn't elaborate on, because it's more than just about wins and losses.
They need a leader. Pedroia, if he gets knee surgery, isn't starting the year on the active roster. If Price is your leader, they're in trouble.
I think they should see if Joe Girardi hangs it up and then try to go after him.
That would be great. They need the David Rosses, the Johnny Gomes, the Mike Napolis of 13. They need to find those guys and sprinkle them in.
Yeah,
into 17.
Because Dustin Pedroia proved that his leadership is lacking.
His play's lacking.
His play is beyond lacking. But the leadership, which we thought should be there, wasn't. So yeah, beyond him, David Price, crying out loud.
It's almost a credit to Farrell that they won 93 games with the amount of crap that went on.
Well, they did play hard. I mean, that was a team that didn't give up. They were in games late, and they battled back in a lot of games.
But listen, he's no Terry Francona, I think, best of our generation. But he'll be better than Jimmy Williams and Kevin Kennedy and Butch Hobson and all these other crap managers over the last 30 years.
I mean, he won the World Series with a roster that I did not think was a World Series championship type roster. So, okay, so there's stability with the New England Patriots in terms of their head coach. Been that way since 2000. But there's some instability as far as performance this year. Tom Brady taking a lot of hits, defense showing a lot of leaks, at least through the first 5 games of the season. What concerns you more going forward? The Patriots' inability to protect Tom Brady or the Patriots' shoddy defense?
I think it's the ability to protect Tom Brady, because while I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a capable backup.
Jimmy who?
What'd I say?
Garoppolo?
Garoppolo?
No.
The Patriots aren't winning a Super Bowl without Tom Brady, and he needs to be upright. And I don't care how many pliable exercise he does at TB12 Institute. If he can't be upright, then the Patriots are in trouble. I think the Pats' defense will improve. I don't think it'll be great. But listen, they went to the Super Bowl in 2011 with the worst-ranked defense. So you can get far in the NFL, and I know you're Mr. Defense, you're going to disagree with me here, with a average defense. So if the Pats can become an average defense and keep Tom Brady upright, I'm fine with them winning in shootouts every week, because I think they're better suited to win a Super Bowl with Tom Brady than without him. So if Nate Solder needs to shape up, and Tom Brady has been hit more in 5 weeks than all of last year, so that worries me.
I'm going to disagree.
Right.
Here's why. I think that I know that I have more faith in the offense, in Dante Scarnecchia, in Josh McDaniels, and obviously in Tom Brady, than I do in what goes on with the defense, and that includes Bill Belichick's ability to scheme it up. I know he's a great defensive coach, but overall, they haven't had lockdown number one, and I'm not talking about points, I'm talking about yards, where the other team punts every time they get the ball.
Right.
That's the best defense. So I just have more faith in the line coach, Scarnecchia, Brady, obviously, to turn that around and figure that out than I do in the defense and what they do in the coaching staff and some of their players.
I also have more faith in the defense, in the offensive line improving. But it worries me more, the thought of Brady out versus the thought of a 32nd ranked defense.
So yeah, as a result, I'm more worried about defense. I'm more worried that they're going to continue to leak oil and not figure it out. Do I think they will? Yes, I do. But if we're going by this question, what am I more worried about?
Yeah.
It's defense, because if the defense wins championships, if they can't figure it out, I don't care how protected Tom Brady is, how healthy Tom Brady is, they will not win if the defense can't get it done. They've gotten there, they didn't win. They won't win.
Pats Jets at the Meadowlands Sunday. The Jets are tied for first place at 3-2. I don't think they're for real. Do you? Who you got?
I mean, what are you going to pick the Jets on that? No. I'll take the Patriots. I don't even know what to make of this game. I don't even know anything about Josh McCown. He was a wide receiver at one point for the Lions. I mean, this guy has played pretty well. They got some young players on the defense. I know sometimes it's close down there. This just feels so off from a Jets-Patriots perspective because I don't even know who's on the Jets anymore.
I was just talking to Gresh. Other than fantasy football, and even then, who's on the Jets offensively? Bilal Powell. Who are their wideouts? I mean, I'm sure we'll
Quincy
do more
Anunia is even hurt. He's not even playing.
I think they have a decent defense, but
yeah, I mean Leonard Williams. They still have Mo Wilkerson, some young defensive
one of those
backs.
deals at the schedule. All right, the Jets are 3-2, but if you see them week 15, they're going to be 6-8 or set.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say
5-9.
I'll say it's a close game. Patriots win, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to pick against them. I'll give the Jets at 3-2, and considering the fact that they're rivals, the benefit of the doubt, I guess.
Yeah, I have the Patriots winning double digits. I think their defense is going to improve 9 days since the Tampa Bay game, and Gronk's back. They're going to get theirs offensively.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Simple.
So that's that. Moving forward. So this was disappointing. The United States men's soccer team, the men's national team, failed to qualify for the World Cup in 2018 after a loss last night, or we'll say, what was it, Tuesday night to Trinidad and Tobago, and then Honduras and Panama subsequently won their games.
Trinidad last night, right? That was last night.
Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Right. So, they get eliminated from the World Cup. So they're not going to be in the World Cup. What was the question you went with here? How embarrassing is this?
10 out of 10. How are we the most powerful country in the nation, the richest country, the most resources? We do so well in every Olympics and the medal count. And of all the sports, Mark, soccer, we can't be one of the 32 best teams in the entire world. I didn't see your tease on social media last night, so I'm looking forward to what you have to say. But why haven't we ever gotten far in soccer? I think it's like a systematic infrastructure thing. Obviously, we know in South America and Europe and Central America, it's more part of their culture. Soccer is more important. It's their baseball or their football akin to what we have in the United States. But if you're talking about they have better athletes, why do we do so well in the Olympics? I put our athletes against their athletes. Soccer is a skill game. Either we're not teaching correctly, or I think when you watch the MLS and you watch English Premier League, that is the beautiful game. The MLS, not as beautiful. So I think it's an infrastructure thing. You got to start at the bottom and make this thing better. I think Jurgen Klinsmann, you go to Bruce Arians and back. I think it's been a leadership issue with some stability there. And these players are just a little soft, right? Soccer players, and I played soccer through high school. They're just a little soft. We need someone.
Describe a soft soccer player.
Well, I mean, going down and clutching their leg for 2 minutes when they tripped over nothing, that's soft. But you see these former USA players, Taylor Twellman, Alexi Lalas. I mean, give me an Alexi Lalas, a Kobe Jones, guys on that 94 USA team who cared and fought. And it just seems like these guys are all right, we're on the U.S. men's national team. They all have pretty haircuts, but they aren't grinding. We need some grinders. So it's pathetic. I mean, when teams with the gross national product of Missouri and the size of Rhode Island are going to the World Cup and we aren't, that is embarrassing.
This is one of the biggest embarrassments I can ever remember. The reason in my mind that we don't thrive in soccer is just priorities. I think it's a low, if not one of the lowest priorities in this country. Kids, youth, they don't care about soccer. They care about other sports because other people care about those other sports more. Soccer doesn't really, the soccer culture, as you alluded to, doesn't really get people excited as far as youth goes. Youth players.
But so many kids play it.
They play it, but that's because everybody can run and kick a ball.
Right.
Then once they kind of, grow up a little bit, they want to play the sports that are the cool sports.
Yeah.
Is soccer nationally really cool? But you know what? We're not here to debate that. We're here to talk about what an embarrassment this was by the U.S. men's national team. Last time they were in the World Cup, they get out of the group of death.
Remember the group of death.
They got out of it. We were making strides. I mean, so we were making strides, right? That's what I was led to believe. That stupid chant, we believe. We believe we can win. Get that out of my face because they believe nothing. This team couldn't. I mean, this team. I'm not going to go down the line as far as what they could have done. I mean, didn't they lose a couple games on American soil? They lost at Ohio State to Mexico. I forget what happened.
Yeah.
But they had opportunities to get to the World Cup. I never drew. They had a 93% chance.
Never thought it was a chance, right?
93% going into last night that they were going to make the World Cup. You know what this reminds me of? Have you ever encountered a couple where the girl really outdoes the guy, and you kind of think to yourself, boy, how did he snag her?
Yeah.
This is like that guy cheating on that girl. Like, what are you doing? What are you thinking, you moron? Once every 4 years, you have an opportunity where the country gets behind you.
The only time in 4 years, to be truthful,
That's right.
America rallies behind soccer.
Rallies, roots for you, everybody loves you, they're all in on soccer. And you blew it. You blew it. You had all the opportunity in the world to get this done, and you couldn't do it. So that is absolutely an embarrassment. I hated when they brought back Bruce Arena. That was a loser move. Yeah, that was a loser move. He was already dismissed. You got the German head coach, you get rid of him, and you bring him back. That's a loser move. Okay, he already didn't work out. What are you doing?
I think they were trying to get an outsider who knew soccer and Jurgen Klinsmann.
Okay, fine.
And then that didn't work out.
It didn't work out.
So what do they do now? What are they supposed to do?
Well, you've got to get rid of everyone, first of all. All those players that built up all that equity after the last World Cup, Howard and Bradley and that guy from Attleboro who's terrible,
Jeff Cameron.
Terrible. They're disgraced. They're disgraced. Get out of here. Go back. Go play men's. I have a good league. They play down the street from me. Men's league, 6:30 a.m. Sunday mornings. Go play with them because I don't want to see you. I don't want to hear about you. They have ruined their legacies for now. Maybe we'll think about that, the fun times later. Landon Donovan, he wasn't a part of the other World Cup, but all the stuff that they helped build, those guys, for now, have encountered a major setback because of this, and I don't really care. I'm not a rabid soccer fan. I just wanted to see the World Cup.
Every 4 years.
Don't screw it up.
Don't screw it up. And they did.
And they screwed it up.
And I think you mentioned kids play growing up and in middle school and in high school, and then it sort of ends. College till professional, are they getting the right training to compete with the world's best? Some of these guys in the U.S. team play overseas, but those that are playing in the MLS, are they getting the right competition?
No. Well, some of these soccer people, too, are a piece of crap. Like, I had a coach, okay, when I was a kid. He gave me the award most likely to succeed in another sport. He used to get annoyed when we would leave to go play baseball and to go do other stuff. He would get annoyed with our lack of... Yeah, so that guy was a loser. I thought that guy was a loser. And hey, maybe he wasn't. Maybe I was wrong, and he was trying to do what you needed to do to put soccer on the forefront. Now we're talking 20 years ago.
See, I don't know. Like you said, the cool thing are kids growing up wanting to be on the U.S. men's national team,
no.
Or more so, I want to be an NFL player in the NBA and the base.
Well, I just think it has to do with the culture.
But how many billion people? How big is our population, Tony?
350 million people.
350. We can't get 20 dudes that can compete at the international stage?
It's just there is no way we should have even entertained the thought of not making the World Cup. I mean, how do those guys? Did they feel that pressure? I mean,
they had no sense of urgency.
I mean, most of them too. We're done after
back
this.
A couple weeks when Lawless had that incredible monologue rant about this team. He's in the know. He pretty much called them all out for being soft. Talk about a lack of leadership. We were talking about the Red Sox earlier. They need someone on that roster who's holding people accountable.
And they get this, and I mean, this isn't as big of a deal, but that kid Christian Pulisic, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. What a great opportunity that would have been to put him on the world display for Team USA.
But then also, are we overrating like getting out of the group of death? Like we've never gotten far.
They have been in the World Cup every year since 1990. Okay, they had just emerged out of that group, and you thought they were making progress. I mean, I never thought this would be the equivalent.
Maybe this is good to get better. You hit rock bottom.
Oh, yeah.
If they're there and
they get better for 20 years from now.
They're in the World Cup and then they don't do anything. It's we're in the World Cup.
Disgrace. I mean, this is the Patriots going 4-12. I mean, it shouldn't happen. It just shouldn't happen.
All right, and that'll be our one soccer topic.
We'll never
for the
talk
next
about. We blew it. See in 25 or whatever.
What
2026 when they're relevant again.
So 2021 we'll resume this topic.
2022 would be the next World Cup that they're maybe in.
Isn't one coming to U.S. soon?
Who the hell knows? I don't know.
U.S. and Mexico or something. All right, that'll do it for Double OT. Catch it on WPRI.com, on iTunes as a podcast, on social media. You got anything to add?
You always ask me that question when I don't have anything to add.
We'll be back. Next week is TBD, but we'll have something for you next week. Thanks for watching.